One of the greatest stories I ever heard about Tommy, he never told me. I spoke to him about it, but he just laughed when I told him about it. Johnny Lewis told me, and do you want me to tell you? I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah, please. This is gold.
So Tommy at the time was managing a fighter called Jeff Malcolm, right?
Yes.
So Tommy used to fight at Newtown Police Boys Club with Johnny Lewis and all the rest of it. When he got suspended, Tommy was the first player to ever get cited, right? So he broke Ernie Garland's jaw, and they cited him on video evidence. So he got out for a while. He stopped going to training because he thought, well, I'm suspended. There's no point to train, right? Anyway, so Johnny, when he comes back, Warren Ryan wants to sack him. Johnny says, no. Gets Tommy in. He's been training with me every day. Warren Ryan says, we hasn't been training. So Johnny says, we've been training with me every day. So Tommy turns up. Anyway, when Tommy comes back, has his first game, they bring him back in reserve grade, right? This is how the game was played back then. Now, Jeff Malcolm's from down the Riverina area, so he had a fight exhibition coming up because he was about to fight for a world title. So they put an exhibition on for him down there. And Tommy wanted to go down, so they've organised this plane to fly them down to Wagga for this sparring, for this exhibition night down at Wagga Leagues Club or whatever it was. Anyway, Tommy walks off the field in his gear after reserve grade, grabs his bag, walks straight out, gets in the back of the Taraga that's waiting back of the grandstand down at Henson Park. They shoot off down the street towards Bankstown Airport. Tommy yells, he's still got his footy boots on, right? Still got his jersey on, everything. He's still in all mud and shit all over him, right? You can imagine what Tommy never walked off the field clean, right?
No.
So he's got this caked on mud that's just sort of drying and flaking off, and Tommy yells out, stop the car, and they shit themselves because they're in a rush to get to the airport because they've got to get down there quick. Anyway, the driver hits the brakes, Tommy jumps out, runs into a bottle shop, comes back with a can of... Right, can of Tui's.
KB.
Tui's new. No, it's Tui's new he drank. So he comes out with a can. Anyway, so he sits back, relaxed, and cracks the can open. Anyway, they get to Bankstown Airport. Jeff Malcolm's there, and there's another bloke there in a white suit, right, real flash-looking bloke, called Paul Ferrari, who was a young lightweight sort of coming through, right?
Yep.
Paul Ferrari's from Melbourne. He's got no idea who this bloke is. He's looking at Tommy thinking, what's going on here, right? So anyway, they get into this little four-seater plane, and they're on the plane and sitting back. Tommy's having a few beers, all the rest of it. And then the driver gets up, the pilot gets up and says, listen, just letting you know, I'm only a trainee.
It's my first flight.
He goes, I don't have enough hours to go to Wagga. So he said, we're going to have to change pilots at Bathurst, right? And so everyone's going, oh, mate, this is bad, right? Paul Ferrari sitting there looking at Tommy. He's just got oblivious to Paul Ferrari. Right. Anyway, Jeff Malcolm's just shaking his head looking at Tommy, who's managing him. And anyway, so at some point, Tommy gets up and goes, mate, I've got to go have a leak, you know. And now there's a four-seater. There's no toilet on the plane. So he gets up and he gets an empty can and he's standing in the aisle. It's bouncing around.
Love it.
Right? And he's trying to balance and all the rest of it. And as he sort of starts to shoot into the can, a little bit shoots off to the side, which can happen if you've been sweating a bit and you've been playing a game of foot. All over Paul Ferrari.
In the white suit.
In the white suit. Who goes...
They don't teach him for wearing a white suit.
It goes berserk. So next minute, Jeff Malcolm and Johnny, everyone's standing up on the plane, all trying to get in the middle of them. Like, you know, hey, settle down. Right?
All trying to do a piss in the can.
They're trying to break up the fight. Paul Ferrari wanted to punch shit out of him. Anyway, Tommy's going, mate, settle down. Settle down. What's your problem? Anyway, they finally land in Bathurst. And the pilot...
They haven't made it to Bathurst yet.
Oh, my goodness.
They walk across, and the new pilot's coming out, and he looks up and he goes, mate, I'm only licensed to carry 3. There's 4 of you. So he turns around and walks away. So they end up having to throw in a few extra bucks to get this trainee to fly him down to Wagga for the rest of the trip. So when they get back up in the air, sitting there, Tommy sits there and goes, right, I might have a smoke, right? So he lights up a smoke on this plane. And the pilot's sitting there and he's smelling the smoke and he starts checking the instruments. You could smoke, right?
Yeah.
But he's going, he goes, anyone smoking back there? And Tommy goes, no, mate. And he puts the cigarette down behind his leg, right? Now, this is in the days where you had a little bit of like shagpole carpet, you just got the side of the plane. So, mate, next minute, flames start coming off the side of the plane. Mate, this time everyone's off Tommy. Jeff Malcolm jumps up, grabs a can of beer, and shakes it and sprays it all over to put the fire out on the fire. Mate, even Johnny Lewis has got the shits with him by this stage, right? And Johnny goes, mate, Johnny, mate, Paul, you're miserable. He said, mate, I could have killed him. So he nearly burned the plane down halfway to Wagga. So they're all sitting on the plane.
But they're not at Wagga yet.
and Tommy's sort of feeling sort of a bit out of sorts because they've all got the shits with him, and all he wants to do is have a beer and a smoke, right? So anyway, they finally land in Wagga, and the bloke's there, and he's got the shits because they're late. He said, I've been holding up this card all night for you. Where have you been? They couldn't explain they had to do a stopover in Bathurst, see? Anyway, the bloke he's supposed to spar has left, right? He said, mate, I'm not waiting down there any longer, and he's gone. So there's no one for Jeff Malcolm to spar.
Oh, fuck.
So Tommy goes, I'll spar him. So,
Really? Are you making this up?
no, mate, true. So he goes, I'll spar him. And anyway, so Johnny's taping up Jeff Malcolm's hands at this point. And Jeff Malcolm's sitting there and he goes, Johnny, what am I going to do? He's blind. Because like Johnny says, there's only 4 or 5 cans left in the carton by the time they got there. Right? I will say a couple got wasted on the fire, but so they weren't all his. But anyway, yeah, and he goes, mate, he's blind. What am I going to do? He said, he can hardly stand up. And Johnny goes, mate, he's made this trip a misery. Fuck him. He said, don't hit him in the head. He said, but rip him up the guts. So they get out. Jeff Malcolm moves around for a round, gives him everyone a round to watch. Comes out the next round, he just goes whoosh, and hits him right in the guts. And Tommy sort of just like everything just sort of bubbles inside him. He steps back a bit. Tommy walks forward again, and Jeff Malcolm hit him again. Tommy just went like that, and it was like this sort of slow motion. Stepped back. And this big arc of foam just shot across the ring.
Oh, man. My teeth almost
And that was the end of the fight.
That's got to be the best story that's ever been told on this podcast to date, I reckon. That qualifies.
I've only pulled my headphones off once before. I've just pulled them off again. A foam of tuies.
Mate, straight across. Mate, nearly ruined the night. Anyway, I'll tell you what a good bloke though Tommy is. Later that night, Johnny's leaving. He walk out. Tommy's sitting there in the poker room playing pokies with some blokes. Johnny goes, Tom, I'm leaving. And Tommy goes, mate, John, look, mate, you know what? These blokes are pretty good blokes. I might stay and have a beer with them. So Tommy stayed there. Johnny goes, and Tommy goes, as he's walking out, hey, Johnny, what room are we in? They're in one of those motels you drive your car up to. And Johnny pulled his key out. Number 6 on it. He has 12. He said, mate, he ruined me trip down. He wasn't going to ruin me sleep.
Oh, mate.
So
but Dawsey, that's one of 100,000 Tommy Raudonikis stories, isn't it?
Oh,
They're just story after story.
Oh,
what a classic that is.
Mate, I wish
He's pissed all over the plane, and then he set the fucking thing on
they
fire.
set it on fire.
in his new town.
In his new town, kid with the mud still on his knees.
Oh, mate. He was a good man, mate.
Yeah, mate.